Hey guys, John V from PhoneArena here. We know there's a lot of rumors and talk about the next generation iPhone using some kind of sapphire glass for its display, but you don't have to wait for that handset just because the Kyocera Brigadier for Verizon Wireless is already out and it packs along a sapphire shield display which Kyocera claims to be virtually scratch proof. So what we thought was, let's find out exactly how sturdy it really is. So let's first talk about the facts about the sapphire shield display before we get into the actual test. Now, Kyocera claims that sapphire in general is second only to diamonds in terms of mineral hardness, to kind of gauge how strong and resilient it really is, and that sapphire is also virtually scratch proof and delivers outstanding protection against stuff like impact damage. So we have the facts there. We thought, hey, why not? Let's find out exactly how strong this sapphire shield display is on the Kyocera Brigadier. So we took it outside, and the first thing that we did was, of course, took it out of our pockets to see what it looks like out of our pockets. And of course, there are some smudges. It looks like there seems to be a little bit of scratching going on, but after a quick clean from a microfiber cloth, it pretty much looks clean and scratch-free. So the first thing we did was use a key to try and scratch it up. So we applied some firm pressure and we tried scratching up the display. And at first glance, when you look at the sun at a different angle, it looks like it left the mark. But again, as soon as we cleaned it off, it pretty much is non-existent. There are no scratches whatsoever with it. The second thing we did was we put it in a Ziploc bag to kind of simulate the experience it'd have if you put it in your pocket with your keys in there, because in the past, I've personally experienced when a phone is in there, the display gets scratched, just out of the blue because my keys are in there. But lo and behold, it looks like the sapphire shield display of the Kyocera Brigadier survives. The next thing we decided to do was to try and scratch it with another hard surface, in this case, stone. So we basically put the screen against the stone and try to rub it up and down, hoping it would scratch. But even with all the firm pressing and the push and pull, it didn't do anything. It looks like it left some sort of mark here, but again, after a clean pass with a microfiber cloth, the sapphire shield display is still clean and there's no evidence of any scratching going on. So after that, we said, hey, let's try doing a drop test. Now this is kind of interesting because, no one likes to intentionally drop their phone, but we decided to do it. We placed it at about 3 feet from the ground, and we dropped it onto concrete. So concrete, it's a very rough surface, and we did it several times. And with each one, of course, you hear that thudding sound, the smacking sound, but luckily, the screen again remains virtually scratchless. It just has a really clean look, despite the fact that you could see with the sidings of the phone, it kind of got a little bit messed up. You can see the plastic coming apart there on the sides, but the screen itself, the glass, is again undamaged from it. And the other thing that we decided to do was using a butter knife with serrated edges, try and scratch it, again, applying a firm amount of pressure to it, up and down, and yet again, there is nothing left, no mark, nothing whatsoever on the display. And the last thing we tried doing was using a corkscrew, so the tip of it, pretty sharp, and again, we just applied a lot of pressure to the glass in hopes of trying to scratch it, but yet again, it shows us that the sapphire shield display is really superior in terms of sturdiness and its resilience to scratching. So Kyocera's claims are pretty good in saying that it's virtually scratch proof. So we're kind of intrigued to see where the sapphire glass goes in the future, but for what it is, it's pretty impressive.